Listen, folks, it's time for the policy breakdown. And so this week, we saw a clean debt ceiling pass the United States House of Representatives and will then therefore pass the United States Senate. A couple weeks ago, we saw the Farm Bill pass, and we got a 2-year budget deal. So the question that you're asking yourself is the Republican Civil War over? Are they done fighting amongst each other? And I don't know. And it's an interesting point because I was watching Fox Business News. Yeah, I watch Fox Business News. Sometimes it's good programming. And it was an interview with Lou Dobbs and Louis Gohmert. And Lou Dobbs asked Louis Gohmert straight up, like, really though, guy, you need to focus on winning an election instead of blocking everything the president's trying to do. You aren't the federal government. And there are 80 folks or 90 folks in the Republican caucus that feel as though it is their job to block every bill that comes up that spends $1, right? And then you have the governors that are doing the same thing. And it just seems to be this unequally yoked party, right? And people we've called the Republicans clear line in the sand that they will have no progress on nothing, basically have blocked the whole Republican Party from getting anything done. Right? Your Louis Gohmert, your Michelle Bachmans, your Virginia Foxes, maniacs, okay? Maniacs. And then you have your Republicans who are, mainstream, not ideological, just common sense people. Like you have, your Jeb Bushes, your Chris Christie's, and people would say Chris Christie's not mainstream. Yeah, whatever. But for the purpose of the backs of my constituents, there's been this battling each other, fighting each other in primaries, taking each other out. We've seen mainstream Republicans saying, I'm either one, going to retire, or two, I'm going to run to the far right to maintain my power. This has caused this has been a cancer in the Republican Party, an absolute cancer. We saw this cancer emerge itself in 2010, when you had all these maniacal candidates running for office. You had Sharon Engel, you had the chick who was a witch in Delaware, Christine O'Donnell, that's her name. Right, you had all these people. Then in 2012, you had your, what's his face, Todd Aiken and Richard Murdoch, and all these people who are just so far to the right, unbelievable. Transvaginal ultrasounds, your Ken Cuccinellis, your Rand Pauls, your Ted Cruzes, who are the far right extreme, and they have basically held the Republican Party hostage, and in doing so, they have held the American people hostage. Now, the question is, are these folks done with their grandstanding? And I gotta tell you, I don't know. But the tea leaves tell us, yes, they do. The tea leaves tell us that possibly, just maybe, we have a calm in the storm. We might be in the eye of the hurricane. The sun is out. It's peaceful. Everything seems to be going as planned. Passed a 2-year budget deal. We passed a clean debt ceiling, not by the help of the Republican Party. A lot of them voted against it. But we're getting stuff done. Getting stuff done for the American people. But I don't believe, if you were to ask my professional political strategist opinion, I don't believe that this Civil War is quite over yet. And here is why. Because these far-right maniacal fools, they're still running for office, folks. They're still running for office. Mitch McConnell will have a tough primary against one of them. Lindsey Graham will have another tough primary against one of them. They will continue to take out incumbents. A lot of these folks are entrenched in the party. Remember during the 2012 political election cycle, people like Ron Paul and the Ron Paul Libertarians, they began and they started to take over the state parties, right? They started to take over state parties. They were running state parties. And that, America, is where the root is, because all politics are local. And when these folks have entrenched themselves on the ground locally, they can have real big impact. So right now there is a calm in the storm, and Republicans in Washington seem to be holding hands or maybe crossing their fingers and reaching out and touching the person next to them. But that does not mean for 1 second that this ugly civil war will not rear its head again, because it will. And you know it will, because you've seen how quickly Republicans were willing to go after Chris Christie. They were willing to harpoon his chances of being president of the United States. They were willing to take him out. Take him out. Lindsey Graham, everybody who wanted to be seen more as more conservative, they immediately attacked Chris Christie, right? They immediately went after him. They don't want him to be the head of the RGA, even though he's raised more money. He's had the best fundraising month in RGA history. Because these folks know that Chris Christie represents the moderate wing of their party. Even though to us progressives, Chris Christie's as far to the right as right can be, to them, he's what you call liberal. Because he expanded Medicaid, because he hugged the president, because he took money to help the state of New Jersey recover from Katrina. These individuals are so far to the right, they're so extreme that they would hurt their own constituents to be that extreme. Just think about it for a second. Think about the state of Mississippi, where these people are the root of crazy-ass conservatives. Just maniacal. Their state benefits the most from food stamps and from the TANF program and the welfare program. But yet their representatives, the far right, Tea Party right, almost wanted to block the farm bill from passage, hurting their own constituents. These people don't care about America. They don't care about the people they represent. They care more so about their political ideology and upholding some ideals that they got from the Koch brothers and millionaires and billionaires who fund their campaigns than they are about the people that live in their districts. These individuals that are holding the Republican Party hostage, that are causing the Civil War, that have decided they were going to secede themselves from the mainstream Republican Party, are the same ones that walk around with the American Constitution in their coat pocket, but they walk around with the American flag on their lapel and the Constitution in their coat pocket, but they trample on American values every day, because our values are pretty clear. Our values are pretty simple. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And to them, you can only pursue happiness if you are pale, stale, and goddamn a male. Let's be very clear about this. Because they don't believe a woman should have the right to choose. They don't believe a woman should have control over their body. They don't believe that two people that love each other should have the right to get married. They don't believe in trans rights. They don't believe that everybody should have a right to vote, no matter if you have an ID, if you don't have an ID, if you live in a certain place, if you don't live in a certain place. They believe that voting should be restricted to those that can afford it. Let's be very clear. These are the same individuals that don't believe that we should have Pell Grants that allow Americans to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They would rather a society where everybody runs a race, whether you have 1 foot, 1 toe, or you have the best Nike training shoes. It doesn't matter. They don't believe in an equal playing field. They don't believe in equal opportunity. They just don't believe. All they believe in is their far right ideology. They believe everybody should have a gun. They believe the stand your ground law should exist and you should be able to kill black men as you see fit and walk free. This is what they believe in. And these are the people that are holding the Republican Party hostage, that have caused a civil war. And while yes, we have a calm in the storm. Yes, there's a calm in the storm. It does not mean that the hurricane is over. Brace yourself, people, because you're going to see them come out of the woodworks in 2014.